we have these big ass flies flying around here. They're like small helicopters. Hi, hello everybody, welcome back, hope you're all well. Well, at least better than I am, because I'm having a really awful cold right now. So if I sound slightly more miserable than I usually do, that's why. And yes, I do feel extremely sorry for myself. Hope you can bear with me for this one. Last week I asked both here on YouTube and over on Instagram if you had any questions for me for a Q&A video. And I actually got some really good ones. I was going to record this video out on location doing some photography as well. But yeah, due to the cold, I'm at home, as you can see. And this is my first Q&A video here on the channel. So let's just jump straight into it. Do you have a favorite photo you've taken? If so, why? I have a few for a few different reasons, but in pure photography sense, I'd say I have two. And this is one of them. I think what makes this one special to me starts with something very personal. It's the photo I used as a thumbnail that really kickstarted my channel. It's tied to that moment where people started noticing my work more, started to stick around and supporting what I do. So even before talking about the composition, there's a lot of gratitude attached to it. But visually, I love how it holds the viewer. The entire left side is this massive, almost overwhelming block of shadow. It's almost pure black. It creates this weight that pushes your eye back into the scene instead of letting it drift off. And because of that darkness taking up so much visual space, it acts like a frame, a visual anchor. Then on the opposite side, you get this soft, calm moment. Two elderly people out on a walk, completely unaware, just enjoying their day. The openness on the right balances the heaviness on the left. And the path almost guides you straight to them. And when you look beyond them, the sea gives you this quiet sense of place. It's subtle, but you immediately understand the environment. A coastal place, fresh air, a peaceful moment. To me, it feels like the whole image is breathing. It's a mix of personal history and genuine visual satisfaction. It's grounded, it's calm, and I would even say it's a little bit cinematic as well. To me, it feels like a small story inside a bigger world. And the second one is this one. And I love this photo because of completely different reasons. It's such an ordinary scene where I live. A dirt road, a couple of crooked road signs, power lines cutting through the sky, and some hail bales in the distance. It's the kind of scene that I used to pass every day without noticing it, without giving it a second thought. Although this photo isn't the exact moment when everything clicked for me, but it represents the mindset perfectly. It reflects that shift where I realized what I actually want from my photography. To find stillness and the emptiness in the ordinary, in the world I already live in. To appreciate the quiet, overlooked spaces instead of chasing dramatic locations. Of course, it doesn't mean I will only photograph this type of scene, but the beauty of this, what this to me, is I can find emptiness and stillness wherever I am. It doesn't matter where I am on location. I can find it in a big city, in a small city. I can find it on a coastal scene. I can find it in my backyard on the dirt roads. And since I love looking for different perspectives, it's a good practice to me that I can be in so many different locations and still find what I find visually pleasing. I hope that makes sense. But it also means that I've made peace with where I am, and I've learned to value it. Visually, I love the calmness, the road rising into the horizon, the huge open sky, the simple lines. Nothing demands attention. There's no event happening, no people, no drama, just a quiet moment suspended in the countryside. And in that emptiness, there's something oddly full and honest. That's why this one is a favorite. It captures the mindset that changed how I approach my photography. And beyond that, I have so many photos from moments where Mal and I are just out spending time together. Every moment with her is something I treasure very, very much. Love your videos and that you do things like these. I would love to hear about how you find inspiration to take pictures in boring places. I too live in Sweden and I just can't seem to figure out good compositions or anything interesting stuff to take photos of. What is it you look for? First of all, a big thank you for being here and looking at my videos. I really appreciate that. And that's a really good question. And honestly, boring is such an individual thing. Like I mentioned in a recent video,
I may dream about photographing a small fishing village in Italy, but someone living there might be completely blind to its beauty.
Yeah, what he said. A place can feel boring because you have simply got too used to it. Familiarity makes things disappear. Not because they are uninteresting, but because you've stopped noticing them. But the truth is, every place has something. You just need to slow down enough to see it. I really think that most people overlook their surroundings simply because they're used to them, not because they're lacking anything. I mean, the thing is, it also kind of depends on what you like photographing. If you live in a big city and you love doing bug macro photography, or insect macro photography, maybe it's called, of course it's going to be harder finding that in a big city than if you would live close to the woods like I am. So I mean, of course it kind of depends as well on what you actually want to photograph. For me, it's quite simple because I'm drawn to stillness and simplicity. I don't need much in my frame. A quiet road, a shape, a line, a small detail. That's enough for me. Once you stop looking for wow moments and start looking for calm moments, ordinary places suddenly opens up. And compositions are everywhere. Sometimes you just have to look at your own environment the way a visitor would, not as someone who's walked past it 1,000 times. How does changing the aspect ratio change your shooting style? Example, shooting 1:1 aspect ratio for a week. Now, this has nothing really to do with the question to do, but when I started with the OM5, when I first got OM5, I shot a lot in 1:1 crop. But the funny thing was, when you're in 1:1 crop, it doesn't matter if you shoot in landscape, oh sorry, maybe we'll do like that, landscape or in portrait, because the image is the same. But I always shot like this, which to me was a little bit funny when I realized that, oh, the frame doesn't change. It's just me looking the camera in a weird way. Again, it had nothing to do with the question to do, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. For most of 2025 though, I actually switched to 3:2 aspect ratio in camera, simply because I liked the look of it. But I mean, I've always cropped the image based on what feels right for the scene. So lately I've actually gone back of shooting native 4:3 in camera and just using the full sensor, and then deciding on the aspect ratio in post. What's changed is that I've gotten a lot better at recognizing the format I want while I'm shooting. Instead of messing around with that later, I can usually see that this is a square crop, this is 1:1 crop, or this is a 3:2, or this would look great in a 16:9. So I'm not really sure if changing the aspect ratio changes my style, but it definitely changes my mindset. Shooting 4:3 and deciding later gives me flexibility, but being able to visualize the final crop in the moment has become a big part of how I shoot now. I don't know if that answers the question. Sorry. How do you balance composition with color, size, and interest? I mean, for me, composition is mostly about visual weight. How different things pulls the viewer's eye. Color, size, and interest all have weight. A bright color pulls harder than a muted one. A big shape pulls more than a small one. And a person or a sign or a strong line can pull harder than both. So the way I balance them is simply by paying attention to what I want the viewer to look at first. If a color is too strong, it becomes the subject. If something is too large or too detailed, it becomes the subject. And if I want a calmer feeling, I reduce the amount of elements that fight for attention. As I already mentioned now a few times, I believe, my style leans towards stillness and simplicity, or emptiness. So I often try to avoid big color distractions or overly interesting objects. I try to let shapes, tones, and the environment guide the eye rather than rely on loud elements. In the end, it's really about deciding what you want the viewer to see first, then making sure that nothing else competes with that. Hi Jimmy, I would like to know more about the way you edit, the presets you use, and the settings and workflow JPEG straight out of camera versus RAW. Also, I always end up with tons of pictures and the post is so overwhelming that it makes me shoot less. How do you manage that? I use my own presets when editing. They're originally made from Roman Fox's preset packs when he used Fujifilm, but I know he has updated the preset pack since then, since he went to Sony instead. So I'm not sure if you can still get those presets from the Fujifilm days. I was actually really close to release my preset pack just a few weeks back, but I reformatted my PC and completely forgot to back my presets up. So currently I'm rebuilding them. Fortunately, not from scratch, because I can still go into my photos and reuse the settings, but they're not at the good base level where they were before, so I'm trying to get back into that. They're not far off, but when they are ready, I will definitely release them on my website. And because I have a really solid base in my presets, I don't spend much time editing my photos at all. Usually around 5 to 10 minutes per image, maybe. Most edits are just small tweaks. Bit of exposure, maybe shift the white balance a little bit, adjusting shadows, highlights. So it's not much, and I rarely use masks anymore as well, so that also frees up a lot of time editing. As for JPEG straight out of camera and RAW, I mentioned this in last week's video, but I don't shoot straight out of camera at all currently. I don't think the OM5 has the best level of JPEG customization in camera, unfortunately. Like, let's say a Fujifilm has, or even the OM3 has. The OM3 and the Pen F has the fully customizable color wheels, which means you can actually get the look you want in camera. And you just can't do that on the OM5, unfortunately. So yeah, the OM5 isn't that flexible in that area. So RAW makes more sense to me. And about feeling overwhelmed with tons of photos, that's super common. What helps me is simply shooting with intention. I don't spray 1,000 photos and hope that something sticks. Which means, of course, that I shoot less now, but it also means that I have way fewer photos to go through when I get home. And that definitely helps the process of both going through the photos and editing them as well, because you don't have the pressure of going through 500 or 1,000 photos every single time you come home. But that definitely helps making editing not feel like a chore, and it actually makes it more fun to do instead. And I'm using Adobe Bridge for sorting all my images as well, and I edit my photos in Adobe Camera Raw. And that have helped my workflow a lot as well, because I thought you don't have to import the images every single time as you do in Lightroom. You just open Adobe Bridge and you have all the files straight there. It's like an open catalog. It works beautifully for me and my workflow at least. Have you tried Glass? I switched recently and really love it. It's pure for photographers with no Instagram algorithms or other annoying stuff. I haven't tried Glass. I actually haven't even heard about it, but I have tried the photo app, and the most recently I've tried Iris as well, made by Alan Schaller, the street photographer, shooting black and white a lot. He has made a photography app as well, or photo sharing app. So I've tried those, but I just find it hard to juggle a lot of different apps, to be honest. And since I don't really play the game, the engagement doesn't matter for me. I just post what I want, when I want, and those who sees it, they see it, and that's good. That's good enough for me. Did you try the ECG5 Grip for the Ohm 5? Yes, I actually did. I actually got the ECG5 Grip and the 45 1.8 Prime as a bundle when I bought the Ohm 5. But as a bonus, I didn't use the grip much at all, actually. I tried it out, but I felt like the grip didn't really add anything to the Ohm 5, because this is already a pretty deep grip. And moving the button, the shutter button, even more further forward than it already is. I don't know if you can even see. And if ergonomically it felt weird, I'll be honest. I also didn't like the dial on the shutter button on the grip actually. So yeah, I tried it, didn't like it, and I actually sold it to MPB. Not sponsored, by the way. And I would say that one of the biggest downsides as well, they missed a really big opportunity with the grip, because they didn't add a Arca Swiss plate on the bottom of it. It would have made the grip so much more useful. If you had unlimited money for a photography project, what would it be? If I had unlimited money, I would probably spend months documenting small Swedish towns, rural communities, and industrial areas. The kind of places that normal people just drive past every day and never put any notice to. Those environments are such a huge part of everyday life for so many people, yet they rarely end up in photography unless someone lives there and cares enough to look. I'd love to turn that into a large long-term documentary project. Not something flashy or dramatic, but a slow, honest exploration of the ordinary environments people build their lives around. Factories, farms, gravel roads, bus stops, quiet neighborhoods, tiny cafes, forgotten corners of small towns. All those in-between places that exists everywhere, but almost are invisible in mainstream photography. What interests me is how much character these places have if you just give them a little bit of attention. How stillness, emptiness, and simplicity can tell a story. Unlimited money wouldn't make me want to chase exotic locations, but what it would give me, unlimited money would give me foremost, is time. Time to explore Sweden more deeply, time to observe without rushing, and time to create a body of work that shows the beauty in everyday life, in places most people overlook. That is something I would want to do. That said, I would love to explore different cultures as well, because people fascinates me a lot. So yeah, that's definitely something I would like to do as well, but not as a photography project. That would be more of something for me, seeing how other people live and just overall, yeah, new cultures. That would be really cool, and explore that with Malin would be really, really cool. Yeah. Next up we have, how is your online gallery coming along? I would say it's coming along pretty well, actually. I've kind of recently rebuilt my website to be more photography orientated, more than YouTube orientated. So I've kind of presented myself a little bit better there, and I show my projects instead of I show my projects instead of just random photos that I really enjoy. So I try to show my work as a whole instead of one-off photos all the time. So more real photography orientated than and project orientated, more than a portfolio, if that makes sense. But I'm definitely adding a few more pages, like for my coastal photos and stuff like that, because they also deserve a home, even though they're not part of a current ongoing project. It could be, I could just make a coastal, I could call it something like the coast in Sweden or something, and it would be a collection of photos from coastal places in Sweden. It could be a simple project, but yeah, I will start adding a little bit more pages to the website with those kind of photos as well. I'm not sure if you wondered about Instagram and stuff like that, because I don't really care about Instagram, to be honest. I just I post there when I want and how I want, so yeah. Hi Jimmy, I'd like to know what happens to the great work you produce. I'm returning to serious photography in a very different world from when I was young, and I'm sure there must be more than social media. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest and say I'm a bit of a hypocrite here, because in several videos I say that the best way to make your photography real is to print something like a photo book or scenes, or just a print of one single photo and hang it on your wall. But I haven't done anything of that so far. But I still believe in that idea 100%. I just haven't got around to do it yet. Because for me, doing YouTube, photography, everything is about time, because I have a full-time job aside of doing this. If I would have been a full-time YouTuber, things would have been different. I would have put more time into certain parts of my photography that I actually believe in. But yeah, currently most of my work lives on my hard drives, unfortunately. That's the reality for me. It will be my hard drives or my website or Instagram, pretty much. But that's also why I'm planning my first real proper photo book to be my project Mellanrummet. The one where I explore the back roads and the ordinary places around where I live. It's my first real long-term project, and it's something I want to finish properly. I will probably get a couple of prints along the way as well. But the project isn't done yet though. I'm planning to at least go through this winter and up until summer 2026 or autumn 2026. So I have at least 1 year of photography for this project, and I will see how much material I have at that point. But I still stand with what I say in my videos. I really think you should make something physical with your photography. A print or a book will make your photography feel more real than social media ever will or could. Can you talk a little about your ongoing project, The Spaces in Between, and how we can contribute a piece of our work to it? Absolutely. The Spaces in Between is a community project to like a sister project to Mellanrummet. While Mellanrummet focuses on the farmland and the rural back roads where I live, my everyday reality, the spaces in between, is about your everyday life. Your ordinary places you walk past every day. The environments that are in between the big moments. Deserts, big cities, small towns, coastal villages. Anything that represents the quiet, overlooked parts of your world. We're currently on issue number 2 of the spaces in between, but I haven't added anything for a while now to the gallery, even though I've had submissions to it. And that's simply because of lack of time. As I mentioned here before, I work full time and I do all of this on the side. And a while back, I pretty much just had to choose between either giving up my photography to handle the spaces in between and YouTube, or skip YouTube and have my photography, or skip the spaces in between currently. And that's where I am right now. This is a little bit about, since this project is very, very new to me and the channel for that matter, I still haven't found a good balance how to handle things properly yet. So for now, YouTube and my own photography has taken the priority of my time over updating the gallery. And as I mentioned, this is also one of the reasons I haven't updated my website with more photos and stuff like that as well. So it's not just the spaces in between gallery that suffers from this. This is the whole website. So yeah. But you can absolutely send in photos to me anyway, because I'm saving every email, and as soon as I have found a balance between my job with YouTube and my photography, in a better way at least, I will start updating the website again. I already have a few images queued up, so don't be discouraged just because of this. I'm also trying to figure out a good and nice way to close out issue number 2, but I also, hopefully I will find a good sponsor to support that video as well. For issue number 1, we had Freewell sponsoring with a really nice filter from them. So yeah, hopefully I will find a nice sponsor for issue number 2 as well. But as I said, don't be discouraged because my lack of time. I'm still working on it, and I'm just trying to figure everything out, because the channel is doing pretty darn well, and that's a little bit overwhelming because I didn't expect to grow from 1,000 subscribers in February 2025 to almost 10k in the end of 2025. That's kind of insane, and I appreciate all of your support so much. Just know that I really appreciate everything you do for my channel. You comment, you ask questions, you engage with me. I really appreciate that. So yeah, feel free to send in any photos. And how you send in the photos to the project is by checking the top part of the description, and you will see the spaces in between project email and the gallery as well. So just send me an email at that email, and that's it pretty much. All I want from you is your full name and your location, not where the image were taken, but where you live, and possibly a link to your portfolio or your Instagram or website or whatever. It's not a must though. A link is not a must. But if you want that, if other people click on your image, they will be sent to your website or whatever, you have to provide that link as well. Otherwise than that, nothing advanced. Send the image in the email and that's it. This project means a lot to me because it shows how similar our ordinary really is, no matter where we live. Well, that was my first Q&A video on the channel, and I really hope you enjoy watching it. I really enjoyed answering the questions. So yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I appreciate it so much. But until next time, have a good day or evening, whenever you're watching this. Out.